Yesterday we explained how with the practice of Satipatthana Bhavana, as one's duty mind is going well, the practice is going well, one is bound to cultivate knowledge, beginning with the discernment of mind and body, progressing along the path until one reaches the arising, instantaneous arising and passing away of objects, namely the knowledge of Udiyataya Jnana, knowledge called Udiyataya Jnana. At this stage one is bound to experience the Dhamma delight, Dhammarati, which transcends manifold sensuous delights or sensuous pleasures, Kamarati. Though Kamarati, sensuous delight, is considered as the best for ordinary beings, and one may be wasting time, or one may be indulging in it all the time, which is dangerous, which is dangerous and fatal. Although it is good, it can be fatal and dangerous. When one practices respectfully and carefully, as one cultivates knowledge, cultivate a mind and insight, you will come to experience this Dhamma delight, Dhammarati. Then one will not shrink back or withdraw from the practice. Then one is bound to experience the spiritual faculties, 5 spiritual faculties or 7 spiritual faculties, beginning with the faculty of faith and confidence in a wonderful manner, in an unusual manner. Especially at this stage, you will be experiencing the 7 enlightenment factors, Bhojanga Dhammas. At this stage, the mind will become purified of all impurities and be adorned with the beautiful mental factors known as Chittasikas by leaps and bounds. The mind will become clear, so will be the body. So much so that in some cases, some diseases which cannot be cured by ordinary means will be cured in a wonderful manner. Today we shall discuss about this, but as for details, we shall only discuss when it comes to the main topic of this discourse. That is the one we're talking about, the subject of the 4 fields of success, and one of the wheel is Adasamapaniti, that is the wheel of self-regulation or cultivating one's mind. At this stage, we will go into the detail. These powers, spiritual powers and spiritual faculties are the same in meaning, different in wordings. We call the power of Saddha, or the spiritual faculty of Saddha, faith and confidence. Because faith and confidence has a controlling factor over other mental states. It is very strong. Because it is very strong, one is experiencing the truth. Thus the power of faith becomes very strong, so much so that one is not affected or agitated by any experience of things which may not cause any faith and confidence, unfaithful things, because the faith and confidence is very strong, because it has the power of controlling factor, so that with faith you are not agitated. Instead, you become peaceful, because the virya energy is very strong, possessing the power of control over the opposites, namely the sluggishness or laziness. It has the controlling faculty, controlling power, because it is very strong. And so is the mindfulness. The power of mindfulness is strong, so that it can overwhelm or overcome anything which may lose mindfulness. There will be no loss of mindfulness, because the power of mindfulness has a controlling faculty, controlling power. And so will be the power of concentration, samadhi. It has a controlling power over opposites, namely distraction, wandering, remorse, and so on. And when the power of knowledge or wisdom also will be very strong, so much so that it will have overwhelming power over delusion or lack of knowledge. And because the power of hearing, that is shame of wrongdoing, shamefulness of wrongdoing, one will detest. Because the power, this hiri power is very strong, the yogis will detest. A yogi will not wish to lose mindfulness. They are afraid, they are ashamed of allowing the defilements to arise in the stream of consciousness by losing mindfulness. Not to mention committing transgressive actions at this stage. And because it is very strong, one will not commit any unwholesome deeds. At this stage, bhavana bala, the power of mental development, is said to have become very strong. And there are other spiritual factors which are associated with faith and confidence. They will also become developed. They will be cultivated, developed, and enhanced. So that the meaning of bhavana will be understood at this stage. That is, first of all, you initiate the practice, then develop it, cultivate it, and make it grow. Such is the meaning of bhavana. At this stage, these mental faculties will become very beautiful, free of being, the mind being free of impurities, will come to possess these pure, beautiful mental factors. One will become free of these impurities, mind will become purified, and come to possess these two wholesome mental factors called hiri ottappa, shame and fear of wrongdoing or committing unwholesome deeds, akusala, usually does. One will be able to control one's conduct, so that conduct becomes pure. What is special, unique, unusual at this stage is that these two wholesome mental states are known as sukha dhamma. That means pure or white states. One can purify oneself, make it white, so to speak, and also purify the associated mental states. Based on this two wholesome mental states, hiri ottappa, because they have a white background, they will repel the heat of black heat, the heat, because you are wearing white things. Just like when you wear white things, you repel the heat of the sun. So too, it will repel the heat of the defilements, so that there will be no will not commit unwholesome deeds, indulging in greed, hatred, and delusion, because they are repelled by this white base of hiri ottappa. And there will be, at this stage, beautiful mental states such as alobha, non-greed, and adosa, non-hatred, will also arise. In the beginning, one may be easily distracted, thinking about many things, or one may be practicing with excess of energy or concentration. At this stage, there's no excess of these mental factors. One will be neutral, one will be equanimous towards all these experiences. Such is known as neutrality of mind. And at this stage, the body and mind will become light, known as malleable, and become light, known as kaya lahuta, and both the mind and the body will become wieldy, so that one will be able to sit for a very long time. Then, as the another mental state, beautiful mental state, known as proficiency of mind and body. Previously, one may not be so active in the practice. Now, at this stage, with the proficiency of mind and body, one will become very active and wakeful. And another mental state, beautiful mental state, is rectitude of the mind and body. One will come to see one's own mistakes or flaws or shortcomings, and will come to confess by oneself, and then confess in such a way that one will not commit such things in future. One may also come and confess these things to the teacher. Such are the suitable qualities. And then at this stage one will cultivate knowledge in an unusual manner, being free of these impurities, undermining elements, tortuous elements. One will come to possess these pure, beautiful mental states. Such are the adornments of your mind and body. At this stage, because you are free of impurities, your mind is clear, the body also will become clear, and at this stage, the sensitivities of your sense organs, such as eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body, will become very sensitive, very sharp, such as the pasara, the sensitivity of these things will become very sharp. And one will at once know when one touches something. That is the sharpness of the sensitivity of the body. And also the unusual experience would be you will come to possess good blood circulation as a result of piti, passaddhi, rapture and calmness. The blood will become very clear. Of course, this subject will be dealt with in detail at a later time. At this stage, one may be overcome by what is known as the impurities of insight. Because you are feeling good, calm and rapturous, you will be attached to this. And if such things arise, first of all you have to prevent them from arising by noting, and if at all such attachments or likes or desires arise, you have to note and overcome. At this stage, that is the stage of Udiyavya Jnana, because instant is arising and passing away. If one continues to practice meditation, one is bound to gain insight in this very life. Because the practicing yogis have to possess the 5 elements of striving, the limbs of striving, Padani, Inga, and out of these, Padaniya, Inga. The first one is faith and confidence, Saddha, having faith in the Buddha's wisdom, faith in the practice of Satipatthana, with the benefits of the Satipatthana practice, beginning with the purity of the mind. Altogether there are 7 benefits. One can realize even the the final supramundane path if one continues to practice. And also one should have faith in the teacher and also in oneself and one's own practice. Of course, you all have come here with the faith, but maybe for some reason such as when in the beginning of the practice one may not observe any unusual experience, then one may lose confidence. For instance, some of the yogis are practicing for already 2 weeks and without any progress. So the teachers have to tell them that they will wait and see for a few more days. If they are able to practice satisfactorily, then they can continue to undertake to meditate. But if they are not satisfactory, of course they'll have to leave. So if this is how the yogis have been told by the teachers. Some have been practicing for months and without any prospect of progress. For them, the time is just wasted. So one should have, however, one practices respectfully and carefully with full faith in the Dhamma, cherishing and appreciating the practice. Of course, for them, we'll have to take considerations. If, on the other hand, if we are not able to practice respectfully, carefully, and just fantasizing or intellectualizing, then of course for them there will be no chance of continuing the practice. And after this we have faith in the practice, we have the second limb or factor of the yogis is the health. One should be healthy. That means if one is healthy enough to digest one's food, that is healthy enough. It can be considered to be good enough. If you can eat and sleep normally, then it should be okay. The third one is sincerity and honesty. One should be sincere enough to confess one's own shortcomings without any pretensions or without being hypocritical. For sincere people, they won't pretend as though they possess something which they don't really possess. When the teachers interview the yogis, then they know at once whether they are reporting from their own experience or from their fantasies or imaginations. So they should be sincere, they should have that courage to confess their shortcomings. And then if they cannot do it, they should confess that they cannot do it. And then the next one is one should be able to practice without regard to one's body and life. And not being afraid of pain or death even. Of course, there has not been any fatal incidents in this retreat, in this center, because of the practice of meditation. If only they are able to realize good benefits of the practice instead. If one practices and strives, then one is bound to purify one's mind, beginning with the discernment of mind and body, and realize this instantaneous arising or experience the instantaneous arising and passing away of mind-body objects. So when one comes to this stage, if one continues to practice, one is bound to gain insight in this way. Buddha himself has become enlightened, and he teaches the Dhamma for the enlightenment of all beings. Hence his expression, Buddha Sabhagwa Bodhaya Dhammanti Siti. After the Buddha is enlightened, he teaches the Dhamma for the sake of enlightenment. And then he tamed himself, he becomes tamed, and he teaches the Dhamma for the sake of taming. Dando Sabhagwa Dhammataya Dhammanti Siti. And after he has practiced mindfulness of rising to the six sense doors, overcoming the defilements in the course of practice, later eradicating all these defilements to the point of no return, he tamed himself, and he teaches the Dhamma for the sake of taming. And he was at peace. He realized peace, samta, being free from, not affected by such defilements as craving, aversion. And so he teaches the Dhamma for the sake of realizing peace. And lastly, he extinguishes all kilesas to the point of no return, realizing Nibbana. And he teaches the Dhamma for the sake of realizing Nibbana. And these things are taught with good motives, sincere motives, and also from his own experience, what he has already gained, and not from fantasies or imaginations. Buddha is not a savior to save others. He's not is balanced or equanimous towards all beings. He's neutral towards all beings. There's no such thing as punishing, the motive to punish those who are not devoted to him. So he has neutral feelings. He's impartial towards all beings, whether they're devoted to him or not devoted. Buddha himself said this, Buddha Bodhiyam, being enlightened, he preaches the Dhamma for the enlightenment of beings. Dinotariyam, he has crossed over to the other shore, that is the other shore of the samsara, and he teaches for the crossing over, Dinotariyam. So he has made a vow in this, to do this previously, so he acted in this as he has taken, according to the vow he has taken, with compassionate feeling, Mahakaruna, after fulfilling the spiritual perfections, paramis, realizing the omniscient knowledge, Saddhamita Jnana. After he has practiced and become enlightened, he preaches the Dhamma to all beings for the sake of enlightenment, for the sake of extinguishing all kilesa. At this point, some would say, make an argument, that is that two things. One is saving others without oneself practicing, and another thing is self-liberation, which is more important. Saving others or self-liberation. So, only when, that means, as for the first thing, liberation or saving others, one must forego one's own benefits, must take a sacrifice in order to save others, without oneself being qualified to do that. So only when you are saving others, first of all, you must save yourself. You must self-liberation. Only when you are liberated, will you be able to liberate others. So there are two persons in the given text. One is oneself. The two persons sinking in the mud, and oneself is sinking in the mud, and should one pull out the other one who is also in the mud, it is impossible. It is impossible. If one is not sinking in the mud, instead one is liberated, then it is impossible. It is possible for one to save another, or to pull another who is already sinking in the mud. Pull out this person who is sinking in the mud. That is quite realistic. But if one has not liberated oneself, one will not be able to save or liberate others. So one must practice to succeed by oneself, then one can go to help others. So one will not be able to succeed anything or accomplish anything by mere praying or wishing. At this stage, there are two kinds of puja, that is devotion or offering to the Buddha. Make an offering to the Buddha. First of all, the Amisa puja, the offering devotion or offering by means of material, such as offering flowers, water, lights and so on, whether it's large or small. Even when one is reciting the quality of the Buddha, it is tantamount to this kind of puja, offering, amisa puja, material offering. But just the Buddha has said that just making this kind of offering, that is some offering by in material sense, is not the real offering, real devotion to Him. The only devotion, the only offering should be Dhamma puja or Niyanika puja. That is what the Buddha has said. So the yogis are now practicing daily on a full-time basis Satipatthana Bhavana. That is the Dhamma which the Buddha has preached. So one should rejoice that one is practicing full-time in this way and just offering or devoting to the Buddha in this by means of Dhamma puja. At the time of the great passing away of the Buddha, Mahaparinibbana, there was a lot of this material offering, amisa puja. That's why the Buddha has preached purposely that he encourages Dhamma puja instead of amisa puja. But how about in some cases he preached the great benefit by offering a flower to him. Of course, this is some food for thought. Buddha said this because he did not want the devotees, whether monk or lady, to waste time in this lifetime by doing this material offering. Otherwise, this will not support the generation of Buddha Sasana. So, however much one may build monasteries or pagodas, they will not contribute to the prolongation of Buddha Sasana. It is only with the practice of Dhamma, such as Satipatthana Bhavana, Dhamma, which is Dhamma puja, will one be able to flourish, to prolong this Buddha Sasana, so that it flourishes for a long, long time. We talk about living Buddha, but the Buddha had passed away more than 2,500 years ago. At that time, the Buddha has said to Elder Ananda that practice he has given this Dhamma Vinaya, doctrine discipline, for the whole 45 years, and what he has preached, that is Dhamma Vinaya, doctrine discipline, will remain as his teacher or guide. So if whoever is following these teachings are said to be keeping this Dhamma Vinaya alive, and in this we can say that the living Buddha is alive. We can say that this is a living Buddha. So, because we say that by seeing Dhamma, we see the Buddha. So, now that we are practicing Satipatthana Bhavana, with cultivating insight knowledge, progressing along the path to realize path and fruition of the Noble One, this is the real living Buddha. That's all for today.